I never thought I'd have to steal my own car back from a first date, but here we are. My roommate swore Dylan was perfect for me. He's funny, has a great job at that tech startup, and he's really into smart girls, she insisted. After weeks of her badgering, I finally agreed to the setup. The red flags started early. Dylan was 30 minutes late picking me up. No text, no apology. When he finally arrived, his first words weren't sorry, but wow, you actually look like your picture's charming. He insisted on driving, claiming my neighborhood was too confusing for him to navigate as a passenger. I reluctantly handed over my keys, since we'd already wasted half an hour of our reservation time. At dinner, Dylan ordered the most expensive wine without asking if I liked it, then spent 45 minutes talking about his crypto investments and how his ex was psycho for asking him to text when he'd be late. The irony was completely lost on him. Every time I try to speak, he'd either check his phone or interrupt with "that reminds me" before launching into another story about himself. When the bill came, he forgot his wallet and asked if I could cover it, promising to BMO me later. After I paid, he suggested we continue the night at a bar his friend owned. He drove us there, ignoring my hints about wanting to go home. The bar turned out to be his friend's apartment where a poker game was happening. Just one quick game, he promised, tossing my car keys onto the poker table. I am on a hot streak tonight. 2 hours later, I'd watched in horror as he lost hand after hand, drinking heavily and ignoring my increasingly direct statements that I needed to leave. When I finally demanded my keys, his friend said, "Excellent, Dylan put your car up as collateral for his last bet." That's when I walked to the bathroom, climbed out the window, and called an Uber to my car, which was parked on the street. Something. I had a spare key hidden in my phone case. Thanks, Dad, for that paranoid advice that finally paid off. I drove home, blocked Dylan's number, and answered my roommate's confused texts with a single message: "If you ever set me up again, I am moving out." 3 days later, Dylan's friend showed up at my workplace with flowers and my lost keys, explaining Dylan had told him I was overwhelmed by our connection and left in a moment of panic. I smiled sweetly, took my keys, and told him exactly where Dylan could shove his flowers. Now when people ask about my worst first date, I just say the one where I became a car thief.